If you have gone through the introduction given for a roundtable by Ofthal people, it's basically an interactive session. So there is no PowerPoint, there is no lecture. We'll be interacting. And the particular sheet that you are having in your hands, this is a guideline to your counseling efforts. I would say this is your self-assessment of your own counseling efforts. We will not, invest time in getting introduced to each other because such a large number. But how many of you are having solo private practice? If you can just raise hands. And how many of you are working with some hospital or corporate? Okay, fine. How many are non-ophthalmologists? Okay, fine. So I get a fair idea of what kind of audience I'm dealing with. Fine, I'll start with my introduction. My name is Pratik Kismatrao. I am a freelancing practice management consultant based in Mumbai. I have been into this field for past 13 years and worked with almost more than 20 ophthalmologists. I'm specifically working with ophthalmologists as a practice management consultant. To name few, Lakshmi Eye Institute, Dr. V.C. Mehta, Dr. Milind Killedar from Maharashtra, Dr. Nitin Patel from Gujarat, a couple of them from Indore, so I won't take all the names. While working, we have come across varied needs at all these practices. Basically, the need at each practice varies, from location to location, city to city, the scale of practice. But this particular thing, patient counseling or patient education, has been the most common area of concern at all my practices that I have handled in last 13 years. So I thought of taking up this particular subject for the roundtable, and I'm thankful to Opthal people that they accepted my roundtable. If you can switch off this projector. Do you need to see two Pratiks? Okay. So as you can see, I'll have to borrow a copy from one of you. Okay, I have my copy. If you can see, I have divided this whole exercise into 4 sub areas. So as I was discussing, this is kind of a self-assessment kit for you all. So you are all supposed to fill it up for yourselves. There is no exam, there is no presentation after that. So we'll start with the first segment, that is the counseling infrastructure segment. So how many of you have a dedicated counselor at your place? And for rest of them, what would be the commonest concern, if you can share? Those who are not having dedicated counselor, what is the commonest concern that you are not having a dedicated counselor? No, why are you not having a dedicated counselor? Cost? Okay. Yeah, that's what she was saying. Yeah. So the person cannot reproduce exactly the way an ophthalmologist or a treating doctor would explain to the patient. What are the advantages of having a counselor? Those who are having counselors, dedicated counselors? Chair time, as he was mentioning. This is something different than what she's saying. Okay. Okay. Conversion is very good in case of a dedicated counselor. Yes, ma'am, you were saying something? Just a minute, one by one. Yeah. But let me ask you a very frank question. Is any of your staff members, for that matter, if you are having a junior doctors or associate doctors, are they supposed to replace your chair or your place? The fact that you are hiring a person, that person is not supposed to replace your position, but to support your position. Am I right? I mean, am I making sense? Yeah, you are making some points, sir? Yeah, sorry, you are saying something. Patients are more comfortable if you are having dedicated counselor. One point that came up here, cost. How many of you think that, in my practice, let us not get into the scale of the practice. How many of you think that, my practice, I cannot afford a dedicated counselor? In the beginning, yes, initial phase. Let me put this in this way. Do we all invest in equipments? Right? One major concern that many of my clients or the ophthalmologists wherever I have interacted with, they share that see, counseling is, I am just a beginner, I am seeing OPD of maybe 20-25 people. Usme se, how many of my cataract patients would be there? So my counselor would be sitting idle. How many of you think so? Is that a concern? We all invest in equipments. When you are operating, are your OPD equipments idle? They are or they are not? When you are in the OPD, are your OT equipments idle? Look at your HR as an investment. Believe me, this investment will have rate of returns much, much, much more than your costlier equipments. On an average, whatever you pay salary for a counselor, this is a generalized statement. I'm not getting into the pricing and the salary structure. This is my observation, generalized statement. Whatever you are paying as a salary to a counselor, if that particular person converts one lower package patient to a higher package patient, that is recovered. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? So start looking at your counselors as an investment. Not only counselors, all your staff members. Did you all attend Dr. Arvind's lecture just now? He was making the same point. I mean, treat it as a family. You are having responsibility of all those families. So we move on to the next point, that is dedicated space. Those who are having dedicated counselors, are you having dedicated space? Importance of dedicated space, if you can elaborate. Yeah. Yes. Any other point? Any other point? Yeah. No disturbances. Yes. So you get undisturbed session. Any other point? Exactly. Wonderful. Okay. So all these things, no disturbance, you get privacy. Basically, you connect well. Suppose I am addressing to a group of maybe 40 ophthalmologists. If I start interacting with you individually, then the connect would be much, much, much better. Isn't that true? So that is what happens. That's importance of your counseling station or counseling cabin or chamber, whatever. Those who cannot have a dedicated space, how do we find solutions? See, we are supposed to give solutions also to our colleagues. Separate? Is that practical, sir? I mean, calling a patient back for counseling, is it a practical thing? Sorry? Where? Our question is where? In OPD only? Hmm. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. So basically, try and look out for some free space. I'm sure there will be some little, two chair, one table space available in your OPD. We are having one small setup in Mumbai. My wife is ophthalmologist. So we are having hardly 900 square feet kind of a setup. In Mumbai, it's luxury. So, we are having 900 kind of a setup in Mumbai. But there also, we could not create a separate counseling station, but we see to it that counseling patient is taken away from your waiting area. That is very, very, very important. Why? We'll come to that point when we discuss the counseling content. Third is counseling aids, different kind of aids or material. What kind of materials are we using? Those who are using? Sorry? Audio visual? Yes. Dummy eyes, models? Yes. Anything else? Leaflets? Yes. Very good. What else? Charts? Sorry? Surgical videos. Who said that? Lens demos. The prototypes of lenses. Anything else? Hmm. Okay. 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 Hmm. Right. Very good. But how do you make that? This is a wonderful point that sir is making. Absolutely. Testimonials. How many of you are using testimonials of your own operated patients? Any form. Any form. It could be written testimonial, it could be a video testimonial, it could be a phone number. Many a times I have seen in my LASIK practices that the youngsters keep on asking, can you just give me a contact number of someone who has already operated? So you can share a contact number with the patient's consent. How many of you are using? Just 3 of them? That's what I said. No consent. That's what I said. I mean, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. With that patient's consent. So just 3 of them. Sorry? Feedback book you are maintaining. Yeah, it could be in any format. It could be a written nice frame. We have prepared a testimonial wall at few places where there is a space. But where there is no space, you can create a booklet, a book-bound kind of a testimonial catalog, I would say. Rest of you, why are we not collecting testimonials? Can you just throw light on this particular thing? Those who are not collecting testimonials, what are the concerns? Because they get busy. Okay. Any other point? Why are we not able to collect testimonials? Hmm? Myopia. Okay. So this session, I should have conducted the first session because everybody is talking marketing language now. Okay. Yeah. The written testimonials. Okay. Yeah. See, I'll give you my input. This is apart from the counseling efforts, I'll give you my input. Develop a system which can run on its own. See, we have tried collecting, he was saying about the video testimonials. We have tried collecting video testimonials. We had called a professional videographer, a nice soundproof room within the premises when there is no OPD, no OT, no patients. But this can happen once a while. You cannot do every now and then. Every month you can't afford to do that. So create a system which can run on its own. Basically, you deploy to any of your staff members. See, what will happen? You'll have to reject 8 testimonials out of 10 testimonials. At the most, that this thing will happen, right? Because they are not good quality. That's okay. That is how your staff will learn. Okay, give them a piece of paper or A4 size sheets and ask them, you have to get testimonials. At our place, what we are doing is, post-op instructions, we are giving patient feedback or the testimonial page along with the file. We ask them while coming for follow-up visit, you please get it filled. You'll be surprised, 90% of them do not get it. 90% of them do not get it. But the advantage is you are tucking that piece of paper to the file, the blank paper comes back. They don't leave it at home. So when they are there in your practice, you can again re-emphasize on giving the testimonial. And again, you will be surprised. Those who are coming for follow-up, 90% are giving. Sitting in the OPD and writing. So this thing can be done. Okay? So we'll move on to the counseling effort. It all depends on what kind of feedback you are expecting. No, I'll make it clear. You're talking about vision only. So as far as vision is concerned, that may vary, right? I have interacted with people who boast that my patient is 6 the next day, is very happy. There are people who are saying that, it takes around a week's time to settle down. So it all depends on your practice, sir. For me, a testimonial or a feedback is not about vision. Believe me, a patient has got full faith in your clinical delivering capacity. That is why that patient is in your practice. You're getting my point? He has heard from people that yes, this particular doctor gives you best results. So you should not be worrying about your vision or the outcomes. What you should be worrying about, what others in your practice are doing. See, the delivery or the outcome is in your hand. But rest of the experience and treatment and comfort and everything is not in your hand. That is delivered by somebody else. So these are the areas which you should be looking at while taking the testimonials or feedback. Yeah. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So again, what kind of feedback you are expecting? As he was saying, one of my clients, he says, we started the feedback system or the testimonial system, written testimonial systems. 1 month down, he says, अरे प्रतीक ये क्या है? ये सब लोग अच्छे पे टिक 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 करके लाते हैं और पीछे के बाजू में सिर्फ 2 लाइन लिखते हैं that everything is good, doctor is excellent, God bless you. I'm bored of reading all these things. I said, out of 100, even if you get 2 good testimonials, that is a good click rate. Take it from me. Rest everything would be just tick, tick, tick. We all give feedbacks in flights, restaurants. What do we do? What do we do? Most of the times we do not read the question also, right or wrong? Right? So that is what your patients are going to do. Take those 2 feedbacks out of these 100. Okay? Take away material. Are you giving? Yeah, sorry. It's like what kind of negative feedback you have got. Yeah.
I take that feedback very seriously. So I gave a proper feedback. There were 1 or 2 negative points, and I gave it to the staff. Now the staff is not supposed to read and question. So when they did that, I took another form and gave a very strong negative. So how do we address that issue? If you get a negative feedback, do you go back to the patient or you just rectify and?
That's what I was saying. It depends on the kind of feedback you are having. If it is related to your support staff or the staff or HR, then probably you have to take it with pinch of salt, because I have seen at one single place only, the same place, 9 very good feedback about staff and 1 negative feedback about staff, the same staff. Okay, so you have to take it with pinch of salt, and you have to stand strong behind your staff. If it is about your systems, deficiencies in your infrastructure or the policies, then you have to take corrective action and then communicate it back to the patient. So that gives good satisfaction to the patient. Yes, doctor is doing something. Yeah. Mail means, you can write to them, you can mail it to them, you can send an SMS, whatever. No, not immediately. One more thing, as she was saying that, when she handed over the feedback form, try to incorporate a feedback box at your place and encourage your patients to put in feedback forms or I'm talking about feedback forms, not testimonials, feedback forms into the feedback boxes. If you can make it anonymous, much, much, much better. I'm not saying good, sir. I'm saying which will have some content. Yeah, which will have some content, which you can utilize for your promotional purpose. See, why are we discussing all these things? The whole topic started with, promoting these testimonials to your to be operator, the prospective patients. So I'm talking about two or three feedbacks or testimonials will have content which you can boast or which you can display or which you can make a catalog of. It's it's wonderful if you can go through all the testimonials. Feedback is different and testimonial is different. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah. It could be certification, it could be a negative certification also. Between, see, basically, feedback is you take feedback about the whole process or the whole experience in your hospital or in your clinic. It can include housekeeping, it can include toilets, it can include the HR or the efficiency of HR. Testimonial is you give it. Testimonial is basically an open-ended thing. You know, you don't ask the pointed questions. Yes, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. No close-ended questions. So it's basically you give a sheet of paper and you ask them to write in their flow. Your experience. Okay, we'll move. Yeah. It's okay even if you don't get back to the patient. What I'm saying is, if it is anonymous, then many patients are more free while writing or while giving their feedback. Yeah. And then see, I mean, let me give one example. You know, in Sangli, I have one client. So in one particular corner of OPD, it was too hot because there was no fan. That patient gave a feedback with name, but the hospital didn't get back to them. They rectified, they corrected the thing, they put a fan, a wall-mounted fan over there. Next time when patient came back, he saw to it that he met the hospital administrator and said that I had given this particular feedback. Thank you so much that you know corrected this thing. So it doesn't matter even if you don't communicate back. Takeaway material. How many of you are giving takeaway materials to the patients? And what does this takeaway material typically have? Like, so basically brochures, right? Brochures. Anything else we are giving? So you are giving it to patients. Okay. Soft copies. No, I'm talking purely about counseled patients. He is not yet converted to your cataract patient. FAQs? You are giving it to the patient? Hmm. 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 Yeah. So facts and myths and facts basically. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else is giving? He is not yet converted to the operated patient. He is just a counsel patient. Yes. So I come to very important thing. Honestly tell me, how many of you are giving menu cards? Menu cards. You are still it's a menu card, right? I call it as a menu card. Why? Most of them are giving? Most of them are giving? While going back? No? Why are you not giving? Yeah. No, no. In any form, are you giving your rates or the prices of surgeries written in written format or a printed format out with the patient? Okay. Estimate about the options. Otherwise, I mean, even if you are not giving in writing, see, patients are very clever, you know. Hmm. No, I'm talking about giving your rates or the prices in writing, sir. Yeah. Hmm. Fine. I am assuming here that, you know, all our charges across the patients remain same. So, this is a different argument or a different topic altogether. Why so, sir? Why do you say? No, I'm talking about the same practice, same doctor. I'm not talking. I'm talking about different localities. Yeah. Tell me very frankly, how many of your patients do really come back and ask that that particular doctor is operating this particular lens in 10,000? They are coming back and asking the same lens, the same package. And okay, and tell me, those who raise their hands, tell me, how are your individual pricings in your particular area? Are you on a higher side or at par or lower side? No, I'm talking about your particular area. Yes, yes, yes. Can you repeat it for me? Yeah. Hmm. See, I'll come back to my. See, I'll come back to one very important statement that I made just few minutes back. Believe me, that patient has got full faith in your practice or in your clinical capabilities. And that is why that patient is in your practice today. So this all thing, see, I'll tell you very frankly, sir. I'm talking about practical experiences. See, my practice is just 4 years now. So, my wife's practice. So, whatever we are running, we are also selling in the same boat. The fact that that patient has come to you, may it be through Google, may it be through some reference, may it be what I can say, just dial, any other mode. It's not just price that will make that patient stick to your practice. Hmm. 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 तो मैंने आपको वही क्वेश्चन पूछा था सर, आपके पर्टिकुलर टेरिटरी में हाउ इज योर प्राइसिंग? आर यू चार्जिंग, आई मीन आर यू ओवर प्राइस्ड, चार्जिंग एट par और अकॉर्डिंग टू यू? समझिए मैं आपका पेशेंट हूं, मैं आपके पास आया हूं, XYZ डॉक्टर है, ये जो है ये 30,000 में ये ऑपरेट कर रहा है, ठीक है? आपका एक्चुअल एस्टेब्लिश प्राइस वेदर इट इज 30,000, 35 और 25, तो क्वेश्चन ही खत्म हो गया ना फिर आपका। तो पहले से आप चार्ज कम ही कर रहे हो ना, तो फिर आर्ग्यूमेंट का सवाल ही पैदा नहीं होता है। See, no, see, display is one part. Display, I mean, for NABH, you are supposed to display it. No, I'm talking about, not only one particular state. For NABH across the country, I mean, they are making it compulsory. Yes, sir. How many of you agree with that? But why don't we accept this, sir? That's what he's saying. I mean, the doctor. How many of you agree with, the gentleman's statement that patients have full faith in doctor, but doctors do not have faith in their patients? It's a very bold statement. I'll share. It's like, yeah, it's like you have to decide whether this thing is acceptable to me or not. Simply. I have seen many of them giving discounts. I mean, I don't want to take out names or territories. Those days, the doctor used to ask, कि, कितने में करना है आपको? I'm saying about my days when I used to roam around. So I don't know whether it is still happening or not. There are people like that. You have to place yourself wherever you want to place yourself. What? The menu card, yes. The whole thing started with the menu card or the rate card. The best practice, according to me, is don't keep it printed. Don't keep it pre-written also. Somebody was saying we give it in writing. This is the best way to give your pricing. So even if you don't reveal or even if you don't, give it out to be taken away, that patient, see how many of you are traveling from out of Chennai? You all must have compared hotel rates, right? We all do, right? The airline rates. We remember, इसका इतना था, उसका उतना था, इसका इतना था. Once you settle down to one particular thing, and once you are convinced, see, while making decision, that is a very important factor. But see, because you have given it in a written format or a printed format, वो बाहर जाके compare करेगा, आप नहीं लिख के दोगे, compare नहीं होगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Okay, so this is best practice according to me. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that thing. See, when I put this tariff card or menu card or rate card in front of patient, okay, the patient starts reading that particular card from a point where his or her mental budget is. Okay? Basically, if he has come prepared with a mental budget of, let us say, 25K, so, he will find out 23K. So he will keep on, thinking of that particular package. So you lose an opportunity to explain your packages. Okay, whatever you say, how much ever time you take, he will be still around 23K. हाँ, मुझे जो चाहिए था इसके पास है. He won't go beyond that. You're trying. Yeah. So this is. Yeah, this again, will vary from practice to practice. I won't say, this would help at all the places. Because, the highest package with these panoptics and the trifocals coming in would be around 80,000, 90,000. You cannot start with 80,000 and then come down to 10,000, 15,000. So, yeah, you have to think, you have to devise strategy according to your locality. Yes. Patient may have that feeling that, yes, I am getting something inferior implanted into my eyes. Yes. Yeah. See, if we have that kind of approach, then probably that would work. See, nowadays, let us be very honest to ourselves that, we are looking at graduating patients from a package to the package. We all are thinking in our minds, how I can directly, indirectly elevate that patient to a higher package, maybe a step higher or 2 steps higher. Right or wrong? So in that case, this thing does not help. Sorry? For counselor only to help him or her, what I'm saying is if you are having a printed card, You know, this is a psychology, patient psychology. You know, I mean, you know, we also generally start any rate card, if you see, you know, we also start reading it from the right end, right? So it's a human psychology. That is what we are talking about. But why do you need the written card? How many packages we are having? Then they can easily, you know, remember. Sorry? Why not? If you can remember, they can easily remember. Just a moment.
This would be multifocal or toric or whatever, lower or higher. And I send a message to my counselor that counsel according to my direction. So is it right or she should explain all the packages? So I'm just
See, I'll just repeat her question. She is saying that, you know, if she feels that this particular patient is good for multifocal, trifocal, or toric, whatever, the premium kind of a package, she sends a message to her counselor that counsel this patient for this particular package or lens. Am I right? So is this right or wrong? All the options? Yeah. So basically, you are feeding your counselor that, you know, this patient may go in for this particular package. No, no, it's not like that, sir. See, in case of these high-end lenses, I'll tell you my experience. You know, when Toric was launched, you know, many of my clients asked, how do we promote Torics? I mean, you know, patient, they do not see value. How many of you are having Alcon machines or used Alcon? So are you are aware of Propack, what this thing Propack is? So when they launched Propack, same thing my clients asked, how do I promote Propack? Because, you know, I can't see any value addition into this. I said, you first see value addition, and then in case of Torics, see, if we go to any physician, okay, any physician, and if that particular person writes, yes sir, writes few investigations, blood investigations, does he counsel? Does he counsel? This is required for you, you have to get it done. So for these particular lenses, this approach may work better than counselor explaining all the packages and then leaving it up to the patient which one to choose. If a doctor is in a better position to decide for the patient, let doctor explain in nutshell, and then for detailed explanation, send that patient to your counselor. Yeah.
Accordingly, she will explain that what's wrong if he goes for a lower package in such cases, or says it, the pediatric patient is there, that he might not know. The patient may say, okay, the
Yeah.
15,000 package.
So
is
you
not
know
something
your
like that.
patient better. That's what I mean. See, generally in patient flow, whatever we are seeing, what happens is, first patient is seen by you, and then you say, you know, many of the places we have tried this also. I mean, you know, just to save on the patient's time, while patient is getting dilated, the patient is counseled also. But then many of patients do not accept this. For many of them, this is like a surprise. You know, they had come for just diminished vision, and then your opto says that you are having cataract. Your opto is not supposed to give that thappa, right? Because patient will not accept that. So patient has to hear it from consultant and then go for counseling. So this is best way. No, but if you are already having an, a chance of interaction, you might as well, just what I would say. Sorry? See, it's like I'm talking about these facial lenses, sir, wherein you know that these lenses are going to help this patient in a better way. So why you want to send that patient first to counselor, give him or her the whole idea about, the idea about the whole packages, the list, and then call back to your cabin and then say, no, this is good for you, because he has already prepared his mind for one package. So unnecessarily you will be playing with his mind.
The more pack.
That is called negative counseling. So many of the patients come. पैसे का चिंता मत करो, जो बेस्ट है वो डाल दो. Yes. ये 80,000 वाला, ये 90,000 वाला. पैसा is not a concern. Many a times the kids or I won't call them kids, but the sons or the daughter, they would come. They want best for their parents. So पैसे का चिंता मत करो. In that case, you have to teach your counselor to do negative counseling. Initial phase, you have to do that negative counseling. If it comes from consultant's mouth, then patients accept that easily. No, this is not required for you. This is not going to work for you. You have to be very honest and tell them. I would say best practice would be you go zone wise. Like you will have how many of you are offering non-FACO or SICS? So we will be having this lower zone of SICS, right? Then we will be having a lower FACO zone, a higher FACO zone, and then multifocals, torics and multifocals. So these 3 or 4 zones, so you go zone wise and you start with probably the higher monofocal zone, the premium monofocal zone. Don't jump into multifocals and all those things, which would be 50,000 plus packages. So you start with your 30,000 plus package. I'm talking about my experience. The packages may vary, but you start with that zone, you come down, and then you explain the higher zone.
In the long run, which is better, whether the fixed price of the lenses or the operation, or varying prices according to the patient, that वो पूरी बना के बेचना, that thing. कितने लोगों के याद रखोगे?
See.
नहीं, that's what fixed price is better, or that's what in the long run.
See, I'll tell you. I may know.
The patient, except told the patient will go to another doctor, and if is providing service with a less of cost, he'll get operated over there.
Yeah.
So which will be better to leave that patient for now, or you can?
No, to answer your first question, which approach is better?
Yeah.
For me, in a long run or in a short run, fixed pricing is much better.
No change.
See, I look at it not from the practice point of view. It's not healthy as far as your staff is concerned. See, you are teaching your staff to manipulate. Okay? And we have seen, negative effects of all these things. There are so many things, that go on. Let us not discuss all those things. But because of these things, staff starts manipulating the doctor or the practice or the hospital.
It should be like an MRP cap, and then you can come down to any level if you want.
That again is up to you. I would not come down a single penny.
You might want to do somebody free. It's your mind.
Yeah,
But cap should be higher price. Nothing above.
absolutely. No, not higher, fixed.
Fix that way.
Fixed. MRP also has got except Gujarat, except Uttarakhand. So, we should not have any exceptions.
But sometimes we do also explain to the patients that he may need something extra. How
Yeah.
do you know the patients will not need a CPR?
Yeah,
He may not need an IRIS.
yeah,
He may not need something else.
yeah,
So we also tell him
Yeah.
99% of the cases this will be your upper
yeah,
limit.
yeah,
But in spite of that, you will be watching the video, we might need something else.
absolutely. That you have to tell in advance. Yeah. We'll quickly move on to the next session because we are already at 3 o'clock, right? So we are supposed to finish. We started at 2:15? Huh? 2:25. Where is this gentleman? Okay, fine. Next is very important section, that is the content of counseling. We already discussed most of it while discussing, but how many of you or your counselors are doing lens-based or product-based counseling? इस लेंस का इतना पैकेज है, उस लेंस का उतना पैकेज है, इस लेंस का उतना पैकेज है. It could be brand, it could be type. हाइड्रोफिलिक का इतना है, हाइड्रोफोबिक का इतना है, इंपोर्टेड हाइड्रोफोबिक का उतना है, एस्फेरिक का इतना है. So you're talking about the lenses. What I'm trying to ask you all is, how many of you are counseling based only on lenses? Then what else are we talking about? This again is lens, sir. I'm talking about other than lens. What things? Okay. No, I'm not talking about can be told. Practically, you tell me what all things are we telling, or your surgical acumen are we talking? Yes, very good. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So your hospital stay is just 1.5 hours. So you did not take a leave. Your son did not take a leave, and you come there by 7:30, and by 9 o'clock you are back home for your breakfast.
Very good.
And that wonders very well.
Very good. So how many of we are, you have to put it down honestly on your sheet only, okay? How many of you are doing it for your patients? Skill, experience, technology available, the comfort, the services.
But not the time.
Also the difficulty of the cataract. If I feel that a cataract is difficult, say in case of brown or black cataract, then I may put a little higher because
Hmm.
it takes more skill.
Fair. So it boils down to skill again. Hmm. 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 So now, now we come back to. I'll come down to my first question, wherein I asked, how many of you are not having a dedicated counselor? Not having. No. If you are a dedicated, we cannot say it's a dedicated thing, right? Because dedicated means doing only counseling job, right? As an ophthalmologist or as an operating surgeon, can you promote your own skill experience to a patient? Yeah. Can you? Skill and experience? Technology you can promote. Your skill and experience? You can't boast, right? You can't boast, right? So this is an advantage. Sorry? Sorry? So this is where your dedicated counselor comes into the picture. The things which a consultant or a surgeon cannot talk about, that is where your dedicated counselor will come into the picture. Last point, which is very interesting point, how many of you or your counselors are trying to understand patients' needs and concerns? Visual needs? Lifestyle needs? Personal needs? See, every question, I feel, just excuse me for this. I feel I'm not an ophthalmologist, but we as an ophthalmologist, we are more concerned about patient's pocket than patient. Not true? No, I am talking about concern. I'm not. Yeah. So see, this was just on lighter note. Whenever I interact with counselors or ophthalmologists, the first thing, the main concern that patient has got is money. How many of you feel that the main concern is money?
It is applicable for a cataract surgery because cataract surgery has become a standardized surgery and patients now are comparing cataract surgery just like an iPhone X value in Vijay Sales and iPhone X value in Maharashtra Electric Corporation. So and the counseling and rate quotation system of almost all the ophthalmologists is same. So they have a common platform where they can compare the things. And because of that, we are not able to take the average cataract surgery value to a higher level. For example, see if
Sir.
we go for a Honda Activa, we have that thing in mind that we have to sell somewhere around 55,000 to 60,000 rupees. So that value is there only with the cataract surgery. It is not there with bypass, it is not there with knee transplant, it is not there with other surgeries. So that standardization has happened and because of that, everything is rolling around.
See, will it happen on its own, sir? I'll tell you. I know if I put this statement, you will say most of us are, in initial phase of practice. I forgot his name. Maybe Dr. Saurabh can help. SICS surgeon in Pune who charges. You know his charges for SICS? What are we charging for SICS? It won't happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. Dr. VC Mehta is my client. Do you know, somebody was saying, if the cataract is harder, he will charge extra. He'll make patient understand, yes, I have done some extra effort on your patient and I am deserving to charge extra. This thing won't happen overnight.
But then in Indian cost-sensitive market, if you have that kind of a practice, you have to be exceptionally genius in promoting yourself, number one. And number two, you ultimately end up losing a volume. Having this kind of a practice and generating volume doesn't go hand in hand for most of us.
That we come down to a business model, sir. There are two, we discussed about the practice models. But then, absolutely. Sorry? Exactly. This is not going to happen overnight.
Thinking that nobody is going to come. I got 2 days. One, within a day I can do it. I started doing 7,000. I thought this is the upper limit I can't charge. Next day was, I would get with some dentists, I charged 15,000 directly. Within a year. I thought, no, this is
Absolutely. So, did you finally get some convincing answer collectively, or you're still not convinced? The original question. You. I'm asking you only. The whole discussion started with your question, right? You only asked, right?
iPhone X does not have volume. It has margins. You were talking about iPhone X. The iPhone X does not have margins.
No, even Samsung J7 you take it, which comes for 12,000. People go for Windows version.
See the very advantage that we are in a service industry. This particular offering itself differentiates us. We are not in a product industry. We'll quickly move on to the next session because we are already 3:10 and 2 sections are remaining. So counselor training, very important part. So what I understand is very few of you are having dedicated counselors. But those who are having, what kind of efforts are you taking on counselor training? Yes, sir. Yeah, you. Yeah. So basically lens manufacturers, whatever trainings they conduct, there or in-house. Apart from that, are you imparting any kind of a training? Forget about counselors, any other staff. Let us all get involved. Yeah. With? Okay. Hmm. So who will make it? Who will do that? So how many of you yourselves are involved into your staff training? Very good. That's a very good number. How many of you feel that it's working? In what way?
Every time there is a pointed object, we tell our staff, protect your eyes, and in different ways. Now, there was this person from the Godrej company, and he was coming to fix a cupboard. He had some pointed thing in his hand. So automatically our staff said, usko cover karo, aankh mein lag jayega. That kind of simple things, because we've been telling them again and again and again, as a preventive thing, it's working. That's how.
So it's not just the clinical aspect of your practice, but the more you interact with your staff, or the more you get involved into your trainings or the trainings of your staff, it kind of creates a culture. They know that yes, this guy is there, and then automatically your position is definitely as a teacher, not just as a boss, and that helps while working in a team. Yeah, you are trying to say something. Uh, See, it's very difficult to generalize the thing. Basically, in a bigger setup wherein, like I was handling Lakshmi Institute, wherein they have 175 or 180 staff members. So every week, alternate day, some or other training is happening. We can't, I mean, if we are having 10, 15, 20 staff members, we can't afford to have one training session every week, right? So you will have to define the frequency. What I would say is, more than frequency, you hunt for an opportunity to train them. Anything new that comes into your practice or into your mind, you have to sit with them and train them. It could be once a week, it could be once in fortnight, it could be once a month. Who can be counselor? You are asking about the qualification, the... I think we will have to wind up early. I'll answer his question. See, there is no a fixed criteria for counselor, according to me. Basically, you have to look at the qualities of that person. Number one, that person should be having good communication skills. Whatever we do, wherever we send that person, communication skills cannot be developed, very fast. And you want your counselors, any of your staff members, to start delivering fast, right? You can't wait for your counselor to get trained for communication skills for 1.5, 2, 3 months, and then put him on the counseling station. No. So the communication skill is number one. Number two is grasping power. Because if that person is totally fresh to this field, that person has to have good grasping power. Third thing, I would say, a presentability is also an important factor. Because, believe me, a patient, how much time a patient would spend with optometrist on an average? With consultant? With counselor? So you just weigh it accordingly. That is why he said, I can be a dedicated counselor. Fine. I think he's just waving his hands. The last section, I'll just review and monitoring. That again is very important aspect. Reviewing your counseling content is very important thing. The content of your counseling and monitoring the efforts. How many of you are having data or indicators for your counseling efforts? Very important. Very important. You cannot gauge your counseling efforts unless and until you have. You tell me very frankly, how many of you feel that at my place the counseling conversion rate would be more than 80%? More than 70%? You counseled and the patient got operated. That is counseling conversion rate. More than 80%? That is different story, sir. The patient got operated. How many of you feel that yes, at my place, 80% patients get converted to surgery? More than 70%? More than 60%? More than 50%? 50 to 60? See, those who feel that it is more than 80%, that is a wrong picture. Okay? If you track your data, you will come to know that your counseling conversion rate is not more than 80%. Let us not get into detail. The industry average counseling conversion rate is at around 60%. Yeah. And again in that, it all depends on who all you are counseling. You are counseling a pre-decided cataract patient or a prospective cataract patient whom you may be calling a year after. Okay? So I think it's time to leave the temple. So thank you so much. And if you have any doubts, you can get in touch with me. I'm there till tomorrow.